Okay. Welcome or hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 4. We have an awesome Minneapolis based artist, Freddy Husbands. Freddy, welcome.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Like I said, happy to be here. Very excited.
Okay, awesome. So, looking forward to digging into your career and your aspirations and what you're doing right now. And so, I always like to start it like with some very basic questions like where are you from, where do you live now, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I'm based right now. I lived in Chicago for 4 years when I was going to school, and yeah, that's kind of
I
the
like
short version. But
I
yeah,
like it. I like you're kind of giving a nod to Prince with your purple also.
yeah. Big shouts to that guy. There's not too many other Minnesota artists. I think Bob Dylan is the other one that comes to mind of like
Wow.
greats that come out of here. But yeah, I was never too big into Prince. It was kind of I remember when he died and everything. Like lots of people were upset. I remember, but yeah.
Have you have you been to Paisley Park?
No, I haven't actually, but my parents have been there, and my dad actually is like a musician, and he had a funny story that he told me one time, and that one of his friends used to be like the runner or whatever for Prince, like while he was in the studio, and he would like Prince. It would be like 3 in the morning or something, and Prince would ask him for coffee. And so then when he'd go to get it, he would just like switch it with decaf or something so that he could like get out of there and like go back to sleep. So
I
that's
love,
my Prince story.
that's really good. So okay, so let's dig into how you started painting and like um, let's take it back to childhood and where that all began.
Yeah. So when I was in middle school, my parents sent me to this like it was called like a fine art interdisciplinary resource school, I think, and that's like pretty much like uh, they like had all these classes like art and like dance and theater, and so you could kind of like pick which ones you wanted to do, and then it was super cool. They would just like have you like throwing pottery or like painting or like that kind of thing. So when I was in middle school, it was kind of like normal just to be like always like working on like a creative project or something like that. And I have a distinct memory of like we were getting stuff together. I think for like a school like production or something. It must have been like a play. And in one of my classes, we were tasked with like making the props or whatever out of like cardboard and then like painting them. And so I think for my group, we had like I was the one painting like this. I can't remember. It must have been like a fire or something, and I did it really well. And then the other group came over and they were like, "Hey, like come do ours, like because we want it to look good as well." And then I remember doing it, and then the people in my group were like, "Yo, like why'd you like give them all the sauce too? Like we were trying to like make ours be the best one or something like that."
Wow.
And yeah, and so I was always kind of into it through that, and then like I think I must have been in like eighth grade or something, and then I left that school and went to like kind of the public like school system because I think at the time I was thinking like I wanted to like do sports or something in high school, but then I like ended up like not even like doing it. But then when I was in high school, so at like the big like public school, um, I was like trying to keep doing like the art and stuff. But the classes were kind of like no one's really like taking it seriously, and they're just like you go in there to like get your points and like get your grade or whatever, and then like anything past that is just like they don't really teach you anything. So in my last year, I did like the school offered like a post-secondary enrollment at the like one of the community colleges, so I could like leave the regular high school and go take like art classes at the community college. So I did that, and I took like painting and some graphic design courses, and that was a lot of fun because I could like go. Like I feel like I'm just like getting out of school to like go like fuck off on my own and like paint or like do whatever. And I think that kind of influenced me to like later on. Then like uh, I decided I wanted to go to school for graphic design, which I did, and that's actually what my day job is right now. I'm a graphic designer. Um, but yeah, so I was that then I was going to school for graphic design, and kind of like figuring out like like what my like what my voice is, and like how I'm like going to like what I want to like do with all that, because I don't know, yeah. So while I was in graphic design school, then I mean, I did a number of things, but I would ultimately end up like kind of start making some of the like work that I think you've seen like on my Instagram and whatnot.
So that's when you were starting to kind of develop your voice.
Exactly, yeah. And it's kind of funny, like you start like when I started this style, I never thought that I would have taken it as far as I have currently. Like I think how it started was I was just um, in class, maybe kind of just scoring these little like little lines and like marks on my notebook just to like pass the time and like fill the paper. And then the dude sitting next to me was like, he's like, yo, that looks kind of cool. And I'm like looking down at it, and it's like not even done. I'm like, oh, like he thinks this is cool. Like that's kind of like, I was a little bit surprised. And then like from there, I I started on like a little 5.5 by 8 inch piece of paper, and I would fill it within like an hour or so. And I'm like, okay, like what, like how can I take this to the next level, pretty much. So then I think I started doing like a 18 by 24 inch, like filling the page. And it, you say painting, but it's really like let's see if I have one sitting around here. They're like these little micron markers that I
Wow.
use to make all the works. And
Can,
so you're
can you
just kind of
can you show us one of them? I want to see.
yeah, I have like some. This one is just like unfinished right here, but
So you're doing all those lines with that micron pen.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
Wow.
And you wouldn't necessarily like if you see it on the wall. I mean, and this has happened countless times where like people just walk by it and think like they don't really look at it, and it's not until you like get close and like what is that actually, until you realize that it's all just like little lines.
Wow.
Yeah, so I kind of started getting bigger and bigger, and to the point where I can't just walk into the Blick store or whatever and buy like I want to go big here. Like you can't
Yeah.
just walk in there and buy like huge pieces of paper.
Yeah.
So the way it actually happened was I would finish one of these pieces, and like with all of them I like take them somewhere to get digitally scanned, so I'm not like standing in front of it with like a thing like, and it just works better like for online viewing and like all that stuff to like get it scanned like on a big industrial like
Properly.
scanner. So I would take these smaller ones in there, and I think one day I just asked like, do you guys sell paper too? And they're like, yeah, like come like just come back here and like look what we have. So then I like went back with them, and they just got like these huge rolls of like they sell like document solutions to like companies and stuff. Like if you need like a big sign or something done, or like something huge to be printed, they do it. So I think they were like rocking with me. So they just I was like, uh, let me get like a 36-inch by 52 inches or something just to start out, and they just like right there just like cut the piece off and like gave it to me and didn't even charge me. And then that kind of started it. Now I buy like huge rolls myself and just cut the pieces off because it's easier and it's cheaper.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, how, why, or how is that line, like system or methodology, important to you and important to the work? Like how, and like what drew you to that, pun intended?
Right. I mean, there's a number of ways I could take this.
Let's go all of them, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's significant about the lines, like I kind of started on accident, but then like kind of it felt good, so I keep doing it. But like if you walk up to let's just say like you walk up to a Rothko in a museum and you're looking at it, like it's kind of like you won't be able to tell exactly um like how long it took him to make it or like what the techniques like used were like. And that goes for like a lot of painting, I feel like, too. Like you see it on the wall and it might look amazing, it might look like shit, but the way the medium of painting itself like works, like you can smear two things together over and over and it might look like it took you 5 minutes, it might look like it took you like 2 hours or something.
Hmm.
But with this, like all the evidence you need is kind of right on the page to kind of you walk up to it and you're immediately aware that like, oh, I can, if I were to like do 5 lines, like just the average person, like it's going to take me this long. Like everyone knows like how long it takes to write your name on a piece of paper or something. So it's all kind of evident in something like this. There's no like cloaking of like how much work you put into it or like how much it should be like.
So the work is in itself like symbolic in your work.
Exactly. And
Labor is symbolic in your work.
exactly. And I think in a way like no matter like I could, no matter how much I say or don't say about it, like there's not really much that will like you won't be able to appreciate it more just by like what I'm saying about it. Like it's all evident in the work on the wall. Like there's no point of like you don't need to know any cultural references or like it's all kind of self-contained on the wall, and I think that's maybe one of the biggest themes um,
So like,
about it.
so no cultural references also is important to you because it could potentially have more of a mass appeal. Help me understand that.
So I mean, if we want to talk about like the success of the work, I don't think that like in my view the success of this work won't be able to be measured for like many years to come. And like what's important to us right now may like change very drastically as time goes on. And I think that
Inevitable.
something like this, you're starting from like pretty simple like geometric principles, and then just kind of like it's a proof of like someone caring about it that much that they like did this, like they
Yeah, you're
like
painting with your
the
own.
art was so important to this person that they like spent this amount of time to
Get
make
it out.
this.
Wow.
Exactly. And you don't need any like language, it spans all like cultural like that kind of thing, like you know um
So
yeah.
that begs the question: um, to what extent is like I've heard that people that have extreme psychedelic experiences, witness, this sacred geometry.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also heard like sometimes people get fucking. There's a guy that got his ass kicked. There's this genius that got his ass kicked, and he woke up out of the hospital after getting his ass kicked. A true mathematical genius, and he sees everything as now in sacred geometry. And like, do you think you're tapped into that? Oh, and then one more reference that like is coming out is like um, there are all these mathematicians that have studied the concept of infinity, and like some of them have like blown their brains out,
Oh
literally,
yeah, yeah,
how wild infinity is. And a lot of them say everything is like resting on this crazed geometry. What
yeah.
what does that fucking mean to
No,
you?
I know. I love that you bring this up though. Like the sacred geometry stuff is super cool, and you look at all these examples of like intelligent design in the universe, or like these
Mm,
fractals that you kind of see if you do psychedelics. And I'm not like the like I've experimented like here and there with psychedelics. And you're right. I think like a lot of the works do have that kind of like they almost make you feel like you're like losing balance or something, or like you're kind of lost in like infinite gaze, like looking at it. Like when I finish one of these, like oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just like put it up and then stare at it for like 20 minutes or so, and just like see
wow.
what comes out of it. Like sometimes it'll even start like moving or something like that. um but even more, like I think it's fascinating that like the idea that like no right angles appear in nature, and that's like a human like creation or something. Like you never see right angles, which I think is weird. And like a lot of my works are like use this square format, or like have these like crosses and whatnot. And like not all of the works I do it, but some of them I'll have it like split using the like the golden ratio, or like the measurement that use like you use when you like I can't exact like you square the circle or something, and it gives you this like the golden ratio or whatever, like the Fibonacci sequence that like
Yo,
Leonardo da
shout out
Vinci used. And
Fibonacci.
yeah, yeah. um and yeah, I don't know what else to say here. I'm like keep looking over because like
Well,
all
I
of my
guess
work is right here.
what I also want to like in your non-artistic life, like, are you thinking or seeing these patterns? Like, how do they emerge?
uh I mean, like it's interesting you say that, because like to me the art is like, even if I leave the studio, I'm still like thinking about it. So like non-artistic life for me is like not really a thing.
Yo,
But
now we're talking. That's why you're on the show, baby.
thanks. You know, I don't know, these things like when I'm making them, I'm kind of thinking about like where like how like where they're going to end up living in the world. And so I think about like if you were to um like walk into the lobby of somewhere, like ideally it's not getting put into like the hotel lobby, but if
Right.
you see one of these things,
Headquarters of motherfucking Pfizer.
yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you walk in and see one of these things, it's sort of like
Monsanto corporate collection.
yeah, and we can talk about that.
No,
It's
totally.
like these things are kind of like reverent in a way. Like you're kind of trained to like see crosses and like these kind of geometric symbols as being like um, I don't know if holy is the right word, but you like it's put right in front of your face in a way, and so you kind of have to like sit with it and think about it. And I think I don't know, like too much. or like I see a lot of art that kind of tries hard to like get you to uh, like interpret something one way or another. And so I think if you like take all that away, then people start like projecting this or projecting that onto the artwork. And like if we want to talk about like what is the function of art, I think it is like kind of one of these things that is incredibly good at like bringing feelings out of people, or like getting them to reflect on like their own place in the universe. And like in this case, like I think a lot of it is when you see something like that, and with all these small little marks, you're like, oh, like that this person must have done, like this must have taken them so long, like they spent all their time on this, but then like what am I spending my time on, like what am I giving my energy to, that kind of thing. So like this stuff is really like, for me, like I hope people see it and it increases their understanding of like what's possible, and like what you can get done in a day. And like if you keep showing up every day, day after day, like I think there's like the potential within all of us to create something great. So
Wow. And how would you tie in, like, I think your perspective of, like, the need to, like, tie the importance of work ethic into the work is unique to you. And where do you think that comes from? Like, as from you as a person, as a child, as a this, that, or the third?
that's a good question. You know, the thing is, like, when I started doing it, it would take me like, I mean, granted, I was in school, but it would take me like maybe a month to finish like something that was like an 18-inch by 24-inch. And now, if I like, on a good week, if I work like, I'm trying to do some quick calculations. Yeah, if I do like work 3 to 4 hours a day on like this stuff, then I can finish something that's maybe like 4 feet by 6 feet in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
Um,
So you're
and
developing a mega mastery of the process.
exactly, and I'm getting more like, I feel like flow state when I do it. Like it's kind of like training. Like if you're training for a marathon, like the first couple runs are going to be hell, but like once you get into it, like you get used to like the first hour, you're like, oh, I can feel like like I feel like I'm getting tired, but like I know this feeling, and if I like just keep going, like by the end of it, I'm going to be satisfied. And like even like as I'm getting closer to finishing the works, I would say that my drive to like pull long hours to just like get it done increases in a weird way.
Wow. Yeah, I've spoken with other artists who talk about how, like, when they're in that flow state, it's like, and this sounds crazy, but the hand of the artists before them, the great artists before them, working through you,
It's
with you.
like you're channeling it. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's all I
No,
had to say.
yeah. So you would experience that also.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't like really promote it, but like as I was starting these things, a lot of people were asking me like, how long did that take? Like how much time did this take you? And I didn't know. So like a couple months ago, I started like putting like a little camera above the like thing, and then just like turning it on every time I start working. And now I can like gauge how long it's taken me. Um, but I I do think like when I was in school, I took a class on like the Italian Renaissance,
Hmm.
and I was so fascinated by how much of the stuff that like we remember about them was not only just like the work that they did, but also like why they were doing it and like where they did it and how they um, like put themselves in the positions to create these works of art. Like lots of times, it would be like they wouldn't even be thinking about it as art. They're just thinking about it as like a job. Like the person with a lot of wealth is going to come to them and like say, I need a portrait that I can hang up that will like be my legacy. And so
Wow.
the people are like, they're looking at it purely from like, how can they create like a real depiction of this person that will kind of be like a memory of, you know, because you can't just like, if you're one of the peasants back then, you can't just like have like a painter spend all his time painting you. Like you just don't have the resources. And so just given that fact, like that you have resources to commission something like that shows that at the time you were um, like wealthy. But then again, and maybe like we're getting off track from your original question here, is like what is the importance of painting like specifically as a medium today, I think is a super interesting question when we have like cameras and can like print stuff and like we don't really need that like lots like now people are painting things not to just create like visual representations of something that existed, but rather like ideas that they have or things like that.
Capturing
um,
emotions, the human experience.
exactly right. And I think like then like if you take that and then now introduce like AI into the mix, like that's a super weird one. And so yeah, I mean we're just all over the place here, but like I think like if you want to say that the last 100 years was about like art about like who we are as people and like our identities, I think as more and more AI comes out, we'll be thinking about like what we are as humans and like what it means to be an artist in the world, like where these computers have the ability to pretty much create any image or like any style, like anything like that. So yeah, that's
Yeah, I
my
think that I love it, and it's something that I think about a lot. And I think that we'll find a way to, or artists or humans will find a way to use AI just as another tool in the toolkit throughout this, journey of artists, capturing, as you said, ideas and the human experience of emotions, or just, you know, it all goes back to that handprint on the cave,
oh
and
yeah.
we're just like continuously evolving that handprint on the cave, and
Hmm.
that will still continue in another 1,000 years, and that is really exciting to me.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you brought up like the camera on your work, and we met on the gram, and so I wanted to hear your perspective on how social media ties into your art creation, but also your perspective of how it ties to the art world, and then we'll talk about your take on the art world and
Okay,
existing.
great. Um, yeah, you know, I kind of struggled to like figure out like for a while like how I wanted to like be presenting this stuff online. Um,
It's great that
and
you care though, because you actually got the work digitized. You didn't just
yeah,
snap it on the iPhone.
yeah. I mean,
Significant. It's respectful of the work.
like I think you either I mean, bottom line, I think like it's super easy as an artist to get pulled into this world of like I need to get my work seen, and like I need to make like content, and I need to monetize and like all of this stuff. And I think that's great as long as you don't lose sight of like what you initially set out to do in a sense. Um, like I think if you're making art for like an hour and then spending another hour like making content about like making the art, like I don't.
You think it takes away from the evolution of the work?
The thing, I mean, I guess it depends like on who the artist is. I guess like if you want to do that and like post all your stuff, um, I think that's fine. Um, like me personally, uh, I'm using it just to like be my. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story, which is like my Instagram didn't look how it looks right now, like half a year ago. But I had like one day I had like a panic attack that like if
A real
something ever.
panic attack?
Say that again.
A real panic attack, or just like just
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but this was like an afterthought. Like, so I had the panic attack, and I was like, well, like if something happened to me, like God forbid, like what would I want to be on my Instagram page forever? Because
wow.
like at a certain point, all of us are gonna be gone, and the only thing that's gonna be like there infinite, like forever, is like your Instagram page. So I'm
Delete
like,
browser history, baby.
right. So I'm thinking like I just need to have like my Instagram be like what I'm putting my life's force into essentially. So there's no like I don't know confusion, I guess, or something like that. But granted, I don't like really like the stakes for me posting on Instagram aren't that high. Like I know if you have like 100,000 followers, then you might start posting your stuff, and like this one gets like X amount of likes, but this one got more likes, so now I'm going to start doing this style, or like even
Right.
if I don't like this style and like people are eating it up, that kind of thing. So but that's also like one of those classic tropes of like the artist versus the patron, and like
Yeah.
how they're going to like follow their instincts or follow the cash, I guess.
Well, what's interesting is how you said earlier in the interview how you believe that um, your work is going to be perceived differently over time and by different, markets or different evolutions of people. And so that helps you, I'd imagine, stand firm in in what you're needing to get out of of your creation.
Yeah,
Or you're just doing it entirely for yourself.
I mean, there's the two parts for me are like the final product and then like the creation of it itself. Like when I'm working on this stuff, it's kind of like therapeutic in a sense. Like if I don't if I don't do this for myself, or if I'm not like creating something every day, then I'll probably start like feeling stagnant or like bad about myself that I'm not doing this. But then the I think like each time I finish one, um, like I'm satisfied, but then it's like it needs to go out into the world and like live its own life, and I need to like start creating more things. Like if I create five things and they all just end up like stacked up in the basement, like that's also gonna probably be upsetting to me. Like and I hope that like someone acquires an artwork and then they like have it hanging in their house, and then maybe they pass away and it goes to like their kids or something, and then their kids, and then by the end of it they're like have this whole like lineage of story of like where this thing has been and like how it came to be, and that kind of thing.
That's awesome. I think that's one of the most beautiful elements of these works too. So, um, like, do you think that I forgot what I was going to say? Take a minute. I'll let it.
Well, we can talk about also like the art world too. You were alluding that you had some questions about like the art world itself.
Oh yes, exactly. Okay, so hold on. Let me just make a note. This I gotta edit this part.
Yeah, do what you need to do. And I'm also kind of curious because I know you have like a unique background, and I kind of want to know how you like got into this or like became interested in the art world.
Oh, yo, thank you so much. All right, so you first. Like, please talk to me. Talk to us. The primary market listener.
Well, uh, I will say that I'm still fairly early on in my career. This past year, I just had like a single sale by a private collector, so I'm like glad about that. But I've still got my sights on like what's next.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
I'll also like so last like fall or something, I was um, like how can I like what can I do um to just like get like I was just like trying to absorb all this information about like the art world and like what how it ticks and like that kind of thing. So I was like, well, let me like go to New York and like see like really get on the ground floor of like what's going on. So I like
Yeah,
went to New York and I was like sleeping on my cousin's like couch or whatever, and I was just like, okay, I'm like gonna go and I'm just gonna walk around. Like I had a list of galleries. I just like walked around and like went into all of them and like looked at what was on the wall and like tried to like chop it up with the like desk worker or whatever.
hmm
And by the end of the trip, my conclusion was that like everything is happening behind closed doors, and like no one wants to give you the time of day, and like everyone's just kind of like protecting their own skin and like playing their part.
even at
um
the highest level.
yeah, even at the highest level. And like sometimes I would just like I went into all the like I would go into like David's Werner and like all these huge galleries and just be like amazed by like how it all like these people are able to afford these huge properties with just like nothing in them except for like something on the wall, and like not even like it's amazing to me how much we don't understand. Like I get like people are uh like you got to like build these relationships, and like if you know this person and they own a gallery, like you got to go to dinner with them and like kiss their feet or whatever.
It's not
But
who you know, it's who you blow, baby.
exactly, yeah. So I kind of left there feeling like, well, now I've got to do a lot of work to
Yeah,
like foster a relationship or like find a foot in the door.
it's
And
overwhelming.
I think
And make a million mistakes and whatever, whatever.
yeah, but I think that's like deliberate. Like if these galleries were to post like an open call or something online, they just have to sift through like so much I don't want to
BS.
say nonsense, but yeah, just like people like their like little bedroom project or whatever. Maybe that's what mine is, but
No, no. Well, what it comes down to from someone who like has been witnessing it and watching it for a long time. So I was living in New York from 2001 to 2019,
hmm,
and around 2011, I started kind of paying attention to artists in the art world because I realized like um, I wanted to be a part of art history in some capacity. I was really inspired by. I know that I'm not an artist. Like maybe I like to think of my businesses as performance art in some capacity, but like I always wanted to be a great art patron. And just because that would be my skill set, I just don't. I wasn't born to do art. So I'm speeding up the story. Is basically there was this artist in about 2014, and I just saw a picture of me in her studio like the other day, and she's having like this giant moment right now. And I said to my cousin when we went to her studio, like, we got to buy as many pieces as we can afford with this girl, because I've never seen someone more fucking hungry to grab it, to
Yeah.
fucking grab it. Like whether I like the art, whether I understand the art, whether I fucking blah blah bluey. So we ended up buying some works,
Nice.
and now she's a celebrated artist, and that has happened a few times with me. And so like what I see as a collector, as just a person in general, like when I try to tell myself as a businessman, if you've got that fucking hunger, that perseverance, you're gonna fucking get it, and like and do whatever the fuck it takes. So and like the stuff that you have to do is the stuff that molds you into a better artist, um, and like yeah, molds you and makes it work. It's almost like polishing the stone. It's just like, oh man, I gotta go
Hmm.
fucking kiss this guy's ass. Hey, kissing that guy's ass didn't work, or lying to that person really fucking hurt me, or whatever that these strategies are that build people, like the social dynamics, the art dynamics, but also like the art world dynamics, but also like refining your voice, um, like, and it could be like, oh man, everyone loved that, but that's not where the puck is going.
Yeah.
So that is also interesting too.
And art is one of these unique things that like uh and I think it maybe is one of the only things that has this unique ability to kind of like you're imbuing this physical object with like your perspective or your like ideas and the way that artworks are valued and like to the extent of like the like that's another thing I'm interested is like how we ascribe value to things and like these artworks and whether or not the like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like do the galleries decide like what art is important, or do the artists decide what's important and the galleries co-opt it, or the other way around? Like
No, it's the artist. It has
yeah,
to
I
be the artist. Like, okay, maybe there's like a huckster gallerist who's like, oh man, I got a couple, um, you know, suckers who'll buy this person's, very great, abstract works. But that vibe always attracts like a whack collector. It attracts a whack artist.
yep.
It always has to start in the center of the artist, and that drive, that desire, and that need to create will
Yeah.
always cause the artist to rise.
And like the other thing too is like for me what's fascinating is if you take an artist that's maybe heavily like contested or like people may disagree, like someone like Jeff Koons who's like
My
maybe
favorite.
considered the greatest, like the biggest artist of all time.
Yeah.
Like I think the criticism is that he's just like taking like these ready-made objects and like doing whatever with them. But I think like to be an individual that is like manipulating the natural environment at such scale like um is kind of interesting to me. Like some of those big like metal things, like maybe they look goofy, but like this dude is like running a whole studio and like getting these buyers to like fuck with his vision or whatever is just like he's devoted his whole life to it, and like it all just starts from his like want to like put these things into the world.
Yeah, he's got this perspective, and guess what? Like his perspective becomes the reality over timeless,
Hmm.
over the history of humanity, because those things are going to survive,
Oh
and
yeah.
came out of his heart, and
Yeah.
that is so so incredible. And we all have that in us, but he somehow refined a way to bring it into reality.
Yeah, and I think like all that stuff is beautiful. Like stuff that I love looking at. I love looking like inside an artist studio where they have like maybe all the walls are just like filled with like paint or like canvases or like messy, but then there's just one spot that's like pristine, and that's where the magic happens. Like they're gonna have like this world of chaos that all kind of like sits right on this one area where they're gonna make like a masterpiece. I think that's great.
Is that the way your studio is?
No, my studio, well, I actually share it with someone, but I have like, I don't know if I want to turn the camera, but I have like a bunch of, they're like these PVC poles, and so I roll the paper up and like slide them into these poles. So they're all kind of like neatly, like, well, sitting over there.
Very cool. So, what is your take on? So, you took a trip to New York and you went back to Minnesota. So, what is your take on Minneapolis in helping to build your career, and like your take on these coastal art cities, New York, Los Angeles, and like the importance of getting your name out there or being in the right world in order to evolve your career?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, Minneapolis is not a big, huge like art center of the world. I mean, we have the like what's called the Walker Art Museum, which is like a pretty like good modern art institution in the city, and then like here and there you kind of have like small or like DIY galleries that I go to from time to time just to like keep my ear to the streets, you know. Um, but for the most part, um, like I tend to kind of absorb a lot of these things just online, and then I can kind of just like lock in and focus in my little area and not
Yeah.
really um, like I don't know. I kind of suck at all the like go to the gallery and like have a drink with the person and like
Mhm.
do that. So I mean that's how I met you online. Like I
Mhm.
think a lot of this stuff is moving online, and um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't
So, in order,
necessarily need to be. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Like going to these galleries.
yeah. Well, time will tell now, because things are so unique, and ultimately, artists have gotten priced out of these major metropolitan areas in some capacity, because you need space to work and you need to be able to not have 50 million guns to your head in order for the work to breathe as well. And so,
I know, yeah, and like I'm sure there's benefit to being in one of those coastal cities if you want to make it as an artist, but like I also think that there's a lot more distractions like keeping you from doing the work maybe. Like here I love that I can just like maybe work on all my stuff and not have to think about it.
yeah, it's
But
huge. It's really,
yeah, I do like anytime I travel though, like trying to go like if I see a show that I like or something, I'll go see it if it works out.
and then how about like how you interact with other artists and how that causes the work to evolve or stay the same, or what's your take on that?
Um, yeah, dude. I mean, I spend a lot of time, like, admittedly, on social media, like looking for new artists, and I think that there's so much good art happening right now. Also, a lot of bad art. Like, uh, like
How do
I,
you define that?
how do I define what good art?
Good art and bad art, yeah.
Um, I mean, I think, like, in my opinion, and I don't think I think this has probably been said before, but good art is like the act of doing something over and over again. And so, like, if I see evidence of, just like complete mastery of something, like, I'm all over it.
Wow.
Like anything unique, or like something, like anything that I just want to see something I haven't seen before. Like, I want to feel something. Um, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. The bad art, I think, is pretty easy to spot if, like, you can tell people are like in it for the money or like in it for the views. Like, I think that can be pretty apparent.
Mm.
Or like, I don't know. I see like those reels of people like, um this is so random, but the other day I saw a reel and it was like, I slept in this alley so I could finish my like artwork, and then they turn around and it looks like identical to like a Basquiat or something. I'm just like, guys, like, can we do something here? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't
It's
know.
interesting. Yeah, like it always does fascinate me that like the Basquiat copies still get a ton of
Yes, like, I don't get
great.
it. Like, why, guys? Can we please do something else?
Apparently not, but that's also, and that's what would flood the galleries if they had the open castings or whatever they're called. Um, and so it's just like you gotta just constantly be taking it to another level, another level, another level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Trying to think if I had any other thoughts to add on to that. I don't know. I also think like I like provocative art, or like art that invokes a conversation, like where there may be two drastically different viewpoints on whether or not it was successful or something like that. Anything that like gets people talking about it, or like gets us to question like our preconceived notions. Maybe that's like a worn out take of art, but that's,
No, that's awesome. So like give us an example.
oh, like, so on a different trip, I was in New York more recently, and I was like, um going to the MoMA, I think, because there was this Richard Serra piece that I wanted to see. I don't know if you're familiar, but he makes like these big steel like structures that kind of just like sit there. Which, like, on the surface, like, if you're not really into art, you might just be like, oh, that's like some like steel block. Like, that's just so stupid. Like,
Yes.
what? Like, this is art, guys. But for me, like I was like, dude, so many things have to come into place for this to be sitting in the center of Manhattan, like this giant steel block, like in this room. And so, like, a lot of things had to come together for that, and I wanted to go see it. So, um, in the end, I went to go see it, and they were like taking it down, and so I couldn't see it. But that's like one of those things where, like, you have the people who maybe are slightly more closed-minded, just like, oh, that's stupid art. Like, they could have, like, that's so boring. But like, if you look into it deeper, like, there's so many other layers upon layers of like how this thing came to be, like why it's there.
Wow.
And I don't know, maybe another example is there's this dude on Instagram. I think his handle is like Darnell the artist or something, and I think he's like this ex military dude who like I don't know, but he does these crazy like paintings that are all these like super morbid like conspiracy kind of artworks that have like zombies and like combat veterans and like conspiracies like that kind of thing. And on the surface you might just say like, oh, this dude's like crazy or something, but really it's just like this super raw like unfiltered like stuff that he's doing, which I think is interesting. Like even though maybe he's like it's inappropriate or something, like that's like the other example for what I think would be good art is like controversial or something like that.
And so uh, that's interesting to me. And so he's painting it, or he's drawing it, or what?
Yeah, yeah. So uh, he's painting it and he's like drawing it, but he's not like traditionally like he's not like at least to my knowledge he's not like a classically trained artist or something.
Okay.
Whereas like um, you're it's pretty easy to dismiss someone who's just like putting their work out there and doesn't have any like Yale MFA or like something like this. Like they don't have these institutions backing them, and so people maybe just dismiss that easily. But I don't think that. I think that any and all like people should have the chance to like have a critical review of like what they're. Maybe
Observing
I'm
or
rambling.
well, how does but how do you kind of how do you define that? Basically, like the importance of those MFAs are in the art world. Essentially a verification and
Right.
validation that you understand like the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So like um, it kind of gives the artist a little bit of immediate validation of depth. It's like, all right, yes, I'm just doing one teardrop on a blank canvas, and that's the work. But I went have an MFA, and that gives me the right to do that. And in some capacity, it kind of does because you have kind of earned that right, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think like don't get me wrong, these are probably super rigorous programs and like they don't just let anybody in there and you have to like prove that you're deserving of the degree or whatever. But then like comes the conundrum of like, well, now that you have the degree, like how are you going to use it and are you going to um, like just start slapping it around like I can do whatever I want. But I don't know. These things are quite complicated too.
Yeah, it's like,
And
what is the importance? Is like of those? Is it more important to get the validation of the piece of paper? Is it what you learned in the institution? Is it the people you met at the institution?
mhm.
All those things have value. And then, what's your ultimate goal? Is it to propel a graphic design career? Is it to propel your work into eternity, or something in between?
Yeah, I am not sure I have the answer. I don't know. This is like getting into like the institutions and like what it means to be like a blue chip artist and
Mm,
like um I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I have all the answers, to be
yeah,
honest.
me neither. And what's interesting is like I think it's never given, and it's like it's hard for a reason. And
Yeah.
it's like some people do like hit it sooner or earlier, or
But I
um,
think that to say that you need that to succeed in the art world is not true. I don't think you need it. I
yeah.
think it helps, and more power to the people that do it. But
Hmm.
I don't think you
Everyone's kind
need
of
it.
carving their own path,
Hmm. Exactly.
and the work that is done, um, it might not be that lane of work, but by golly, I think any way you slice it, dice it, or serve it, it takes work. So it's like,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, um, great art is doing it over and over again, and I don't think that there's going to be like um, any single work of art that's gonna be like, this is it. Like I can stop now. Like I made
yeah,
the artwork. I think that um, these are things. It's about like the life you're living and what you do every day and what gets you up in the morning.
incredible.
And yeah.
So that is, we're almost to the end of the show. So before we end, I want to ask if you have anything that you want to share or promote, or you know, whatever. Last bit.
Share or promote? No, I would just say that if you want to look at my work, it's on my website, freddyhusbands.com, and
Awesome.
that's it.
And what's your Instagram for everybody?
Instagram is F husbands with an underscore between each letter.
Awesome. And so that's a really cool name. Do we have any like backstory with your last name?
I mean, as much as I know, I mean, my dad is from the UK, so I think it's something to do with like animal husbandry or something like way back when. I think that's where it comes from, but I
Whoa,
don't know.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Aristocratic. Love it. Okay. Well, Freddie, I really love talking to you, and I'm really excited about your work and your career, and so excited to tune in and watch you evolve.
Yeah, yeah. This was a blast, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording.
All right.